G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video. My name's Cody and today I will be giving you my round 23 NRL tips of 2023. Now you may be wondering, do I normally do this on my screen? Yes, I do, but for the rest of the season here, I will be doing my tips along with the Super League tips and the NRL tips, doing it this way. I want to see how it goes and I'm most likely going to do it this way next year. I hope you guys don't mind, and I think you guys might enjoy this. But last week was round 22. I managed to get 5 out of 8 games correct. The only games I got incorrect were the Dolphins. They lost by 1 point against the Dogs, 23-22. Cowboys, shocked. 6-game winning streak came to an end against the Titans, losing 22-13, odd scoreline. And also, Knights beat the Raiders. So, bloody Raiders let me down for that one. They lost 28-6. Knights are on form at the moment. But with that out of the way, let's get into the first game of round 23. And the first one kicks off on Thursday night at 7:50 p.m, taking place at the Sydney Cricket Ground. It is the Sydney Roosters taking on the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles. Now, Manly are coming off a win over the Dragons. Cherry Evans' 300th game in Wollongong last week, winning 24-18. A bit controversial with the refereeing in that game. I'm not going to lie, it was very hard to watch, and Dragons had chances. Wrong calls go their way. Now, I don't support the Dragons, but I really feel for them. They came back as well and put in a good effort, but it wasn't enough to beat Manly to win 24-18. And as for the Dragons, as for the Roosters, their top 8 finals is done. They lost to the Broncos. I believe the score was 32-10, wasn't it? Yeah, oh, geez, that was a correct score. Yep, 32-10 they lost at the Gabba last week against the Broncos. And it's another Thursday night for the Roosters as well. But this will be an interesting game because Manly still have their chance of making the 8. And as for the Roosters, they can't make it anymore. Now, in the past 10 games between these two teams, it has been Roosters have won 6 of the past 10, which includes winning 3 of the last 5. Now, earlier back in July, these two met. Manly just hold on to win 18-16 at the Fortress of Four Pines Park. Manly just won that game barely in the last 10 seconds. Roosters had a chance, but they flopped it. Now, for this game, it can go either way, and they've got the Roosters as the favourites, which that's a bit surprising. But the way that they played last week, the Roosters, they're done. So I'm going to go Manly for this one. I'm going to go Manly to win 1-12. Manly to win by, let's go, 8 points. I'm going to go scoreline 28-20. So now we move on to the Friday night fixtures. The first one kicking off at 6 p.m. up there on the Gold Coast at Cbus Super Stadium. It is the Gold Coast Titans taking on the New Zealand Warriors. Warriors are fresh off the bye, having their third and final bye. And then the week before, back in round 21, just give me 1 second, guys. They beat the Raiders by 1 point. They led 20 points to 6 in that game, and Raiders came back, but unfortunately, Jared Croker missed the conversion, which led to the Warriors getting a field goal from Sean Johnson, winning 21-20 against the Raiders. And that was an excellent match to watch. And as for the Titans, shocking win against the Cowboys, against, well, would I say they're rivals in a way? Possibly. I mean, I don't think it's really a rivalry. It's just a Queensland derby, I guess. And they won 22-13, hold off the Cowboys, ending their 6-game winning streak. And, wow, I was completely surprised by the Titans. But good on them winning. And this will be another okay clash. Now, in the past 10 games between these two, it has been 5 games apiece. But the Titans have won 4 of the past 5, which includes winning the last 3 games. And the last time that the Warriors won in Auckland against the Titans was back in 2019, where they won 26-10 against the Titans. Now, these two did play in the final round at Mount Smart last year, but Titans won that 27-26. And for this game, I'm obviously going to back the Warriors. They've been the most outstanding team this year. They've completely surprised me, surprised a lot of people as well. This is the Warriors' year. Top four finish is definitely going to be there for them. And as for Titans, that was just a luck of a draw win because they've still got Tino out for, I believe it's another week. He's out for, so I think he'll be back for round 24 or 25. It's one of those games. But I will obviously back the Warriors to win this one. I'm going to go 1-12. I'm going to go Warriors to win by 10. Now, even though the Titans won last week, I think the Warriors will be too good. I'll go Warriors to win 26-16 over the Titans. And now on to the other Friday night fixture, local Queensland Derby rivalry game, the main one in Queensland. Sorry, guys, my apologies. I got the wrong game. It is a top four clash for potentially one of the games of the round. It is the first place Penrith Panthers taking on the fourth place Melbourne Storm. I can't believe I got the wrong game there. I'm so sorry, guys, but we all make mistakes. Yeah, so we have a top four clash at Penrith Park, Bluebet Stadium, on Friday night, kicking off at 8 p.m. Melbourne coming off a win last week. Sorry for that pausing. I just had to get something there. Melbourne thrashed the Eels last week. Unreal result. I believe the scoreline was 48-12 or something like that. No, it was 46-16. Melbourne thrashed the Eels, and Eels are now outside the top 8 in 11th. Wow. And Melbourne, after they lost the week before to the Knights, which that was a upset and a half, that Melbourne are looking to bounce back and solidify themselves for a top 4 spot. If they lose this game against Penrith, that opens up for the other teams that can potentially still get 4th place. I think the top 3 is confirmed already, unless Brisbane decide to drop all the other games, which I'll get to them very, very soon. And as for Penrith, too good against the Sharks. A bit of a hard game to get through. 28-0 at Bluebet last week they won. Nathan Cleary, with I think it's second or third game back. Great effort from the Panthers. That's why they're the team to beat. They're looking for a three-peat. I'm hoping that does not happen this year. And this will be an interesting clash. Now, in the past 10 games between Penrith and Penrith have won 6 of the past 10 games, which includes winning 3 of the past 4 games. Now, these two met on the 30th of June. Penrith, from 14-0 points down, went on to beat the Storm at Marvel Stadium, 34 points to 16. And Melbourne were all out of sorts in that game. One of the biggest collapses that I believe they have ever suffered as well, which is unreal. But here we are now. Penrith have won their last 5 games in a row. But for this game, it's going to be a hard game to tip. But obviously, I think Penrith will flow through easy. I think Penrith will win this game 1-12. I'll go Penrith to win by 4. I think it's going to be a very tight game. I think Penrith will win. Let's go 20-16. Then, I'm going to make a bold prediction here. Nathan Cleary to score a try. Now, on to Super Saturday. The first one, a Queensland rivalry, Queensland Derby, the main rivalry of the Queensland teams. It is the North Queensland Cowboys taking on the Brisbane Broncos, kicking off at 3 p.m. up there in Townsville at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. Cowboys coming off a shocking loss against the Titans, 22-13, and their 6-game winning streak came to an end. And it seems like that Valentine Holmes for that with that dangerous tackle. He's going to be out for at least 3 to 4 weeks now as of this recording. But I didn't know what really happened. I didn't watch the game. I've seen replays of it though, but he seems like he's going to be out for the next couple of weeks, which would be a massive blow for the Cowboys. And as for Brisbane, they're coming off a win over the Roosters at the Gabba last Thursday, winning 32 points to 10. No doubt they were not going to lose that game. Brisbane, they've been on a roll this year as well, just like the Warriors. They're going to potentially could catch up the Penrith and solidify the minor premiership, but still got to wait and see. We've still got 4 to 5 rounds to go, depending on who still has the buys and all that as well. Now, in the past 10 games between these two, it has been 5 games apiece in this local derby, but the Cowboys have won 4 of the past 6 fixtures. Now, these two already met earlier in this year. Brisbane won 28 points to 16 at Suncorp Stadium. And also, Brisbane have not won in Townsville since 2020. These two have clashed at Townsville at the new stadium, Queensland Country Bank, 3 times already, with Cowboys winning the last 2. The one that the Broncos won was back in 2020 when they won 28-21 against the Cowboys. So this would be an interesting game. Broncos, if they lose, Warriors could easily catch them and could overtake them, but I don't think that's going to happen yet. And as for the Cowboys, they could fall out of the top 8, and the Knights or Manly, well, both of them can get in front of them. The Cowboys lose, so this is a situation for both teams, mainly the Cowboys, because they've been on a roll in the past couple of weeks, and all of a sudden they lose to the Titans, and now they're in 8th at the moment, just on the brink of the top 8. But I think for this game, I'm going to go bold here. Yeah, I know might get some criticism that I'm not tipping Brisbane, but that's all right. I mean, I don't support either team, but it's my opinion anyway. I will back the Cowboys. I think they will bounce back against the Broncos. They'll always give each other a game, and it's always been in the last couple games as well. It's always been 13 plus. So I'll go Cowboys to bounce back in Townsville. They've put on smashings in Townsville for the past couple of games they've played up there. So I'll go Cowboys to win 1-12. I'll go Cowboys to win by 6. I think this will be a high scoring game, so I'm going to go 28-22 as the score. And now we head over to the other side of Australia for the first time in a couple of years. We head to Perth for the next 2 games, a double header. The first time we've had a double header this year, and I think in a couple of years as well, not excluding Magic Round and excluding the 2021 season, as well as the comp moved up to Queensland after round 15 or 16. We head to Perth for the first game, kicking off at 5:30. It is the Newcastle Knights taking on the Dolphins. Dolphins as the home team, so it's a neutral venue for both of these teams. Dolphins' first time over there. I don't know. I think this is Newcastle's first time in Perth as well. I'm not too sure. But first off the double-header games, the Dolphins coming off a 1-point loss against the Bulldogs, 23-22 in Bundaberg on the weekend. And as for the Knights, I think it's the 4th game in a row they've won now. They're on form. They're only 1 point outside of the top 8 at the moment. Knights went on to beat the Raiders 28 points to 6, I believe the score was, in Canberra last week. Great win for the Knights. I didn't expect them to make the top 8 this year, but they've surprised me and they've hit form at the right time this year. Kalen Ponga, Jackson Hastings, Tyson Gamble, and Vince Crossland. Bit of a young player, but I think all the spine players, they've been playing their roles very well this year. And for the head-to-head, these two have clashed earlier this year. The first time the Dolphins went outside of Queensland, these two played each other at McDonald John Stadium early in the year, with the Dolphins winning 36 points to 20. But this is a completely different side for the Knights than it was back in round 3. And for this game, this one is really tough to pick. Now, initially, if the Dolphins had won, they would have been still in contention of making the 8, but because they lost, they no longer can make the 8, even though they're on 22 points and still have a chance of making it. I don't think they will. And as for the Knights, they're on 23 points, and if they win, they'll be inside the top 8 if the Sharks or Cowboys or both teams lose. Or if the Bunnies are on 26 at the moment. Excuse me. So this will be this will be a great game. And I should say it's at Optus Stadium as well. First time since 2018 a game, or 2019 that a game's been taken there. For this game, I will go Knights to win this one. I'll go Knights to win 1-12. I'll go Knights to win by 8. I'm going to go scoreline 24-16. And the second of the two games in Perth at Optus Stadium, it is my boys taking on the Cronulla Sharks, kicking off at 7:35 p.m. This will be the first time we've gone to Perth since 2018. We've actually played at this venue before. Once we lost to the Warriors. I believe the score was 32-18 or something similar. There was also a double header back in 2018. I think it was also Bulldogs and Melbourne that played there as well. Well, it's whoever. I can't really remember. And the Sharks, I think this will be the first time they've come over here for a long time as well. Probably since the mid-2000s or so. Now, Sharks lost 28-0 against Penrith. I knew they couldn't win that game, and they didn't score a single point at all. They can't beat a top 8 team. Yeah, you may say they beat the Cowboys, but they were not in the top 8 at that point early in the year, so that doesn't count. And as for the Bunnies, finally back in the winner's circles, and doozy win over the Tigers, almost collapsed like we did against the Broncos last 2 weeks ago. But Tigers came back to level it at 2018, but Rabbitohs with 2 tries in the last 15 minutes got there to win 32-18 in Tamworth. Now the Bunnies are on their second trip second home game outside of Sydney, going to Perth. Should be interesting. Now I was initially going to go to this game, but I couldn't really afford it, so luckily I've dodged the bullet, and I wish all the boys and whoever's going over there all the best over there, and it will be a couple more weeks until I will be going to a Bunnies game. And now, for the past 10 games between these two, the Rabbits have won 6 of the past 10 games, which includes winning 4 of the past 5 fixtures. Now, we met in round 1 this year. We won 27 points to 18 at PointsBet Stadium, my apologies, and broke our losing streak that we had not won at PointsBet since 2014 before that round 1 game. For this game, obviously, I'm going to back the boys. I think will be too good for the Sharks, so I'm going to go the Rabbits to win. I'm actually going to go 13 plus. I'm going to go for a risk. I'm going to go the Bunnies to win by 16. I'm going to go scoreline 30-16 against the Sharks. Let's win this, boys. And now on to the Sunday fixtures. First one kicking off at 2 p.m. at CommBank Stadium. It is the Parramatta Eels taking on the St George Illawarra Dragons. Eels. They were beaten, flogged 46-16 in Melbourne last week against the Storm. And they're outside the top 8 in 11th place. Now, they still got the bye in round 27, so that could be their only chance if they lose this game against the Raiders. But they've got a tough draw home. They've got the Roosters, they've got the Broncos, and I think they've got the Panthers in that order. That's a tough one. But Parramatta, they're in all sorts. Missing Campbell, Gillard, and Sevo, it's really hurt them. But they were very bad last week. And as for the Dragons, they were hard done by a couple of bad referee decisions. I think Todd Smith, that was the ref. A lot of bad calls going against the Dragons. I won't say they were robbed, but they were hard done by. But they lost 24-18 against Manly, trying to upset Cherry Evans' 300th game. But Manly just held on to win 24-18 in Wollongong. Now, in the past 10 games between the Eels and Dragons, Eels have won 7 of the past 10, which includes winning 4 of the past 6. Now, these two have played at CommBank 4 times against each other. It is 2 games each, with the last game back in 2000 last year, where Eels destroyed the Dragons 48-14, and the last time the Dragons won was back in 2021, where they beat the Eels 26-12 in on the 11th of April. So for this game, it's a do or die situation here. Eels could, if they lose, they could still not make the 8. And as for the Dragons, although they are 4 points clear of the Tigers, Tigers could still catch them, but very unlikely to get the wooden spoon. Tigers will need to win at least every single game from on here out. But I think Eels will bounce back in this game. I will go Eels to win 1-12. I'll go Eels to win by 8. I'm going to go scoreline 18-10. And now we move on to the final game for round 23 of the NRL. We have the Canberra Raiders taking on the West Tigers down at GIO Stadium down there in Canberra. The Tigers, what can I say about the Tigers? They keep losing and losing. Tigers losing to my boys, the Rabbits, 32 points to 18. They could have had a chance to beat us, but in the last 20 minutes or so, we were just too good for them. And as for Canberra, beaten at home against the Newcastle Knights, 28 points to 6. Shocking result for the Raiders, and I bet Ricky Stewart was throwing a fit after the game like he does with his press conferences, which is funny to watch. But this is a do or die situation for both of these teams as well. Tigers, even though it's going to be likely they will go back to back wooden spoons, the Tigers, they could still have a chance to catch the Dragons or even the Dogs. They've got to win the last 5 games. 5 games, I meant, sorry, for the remainder of the year, but it's very unlikely. And as for the Raiders, because of that loss, they have a chance of falling down to falling down the ladder next week, or this week rather, if they lose to the Tigers and we win, we move up to 5th. So and with their minus points differential, they're in danger of falling out of the top 8 in the next couple of rounds as well. However, in the past 10 games between these two, Raiders have won 9 of the past 10, which includes winning the last 6 games. So the last time the Tigers won was back in 2018, where they won 22-20, and that was also in Canberra. So Tigers have been a bogey side to the Raiders in recent memory. But for this game, even though I think Raiders could choke in this one, I think Raiders will bounce back and win against the Tigers. So I'll go Raiders to win 1-12. I don't think it'll be a 13 plus, but you never know. Season's too close to call. I'll go Raiders to win by 12. I'll go for them to win, let's go 24-12. And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes my round 23 NRL tipping video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and turn on post notifications so you do not miss out on another video like this. Like I said at the start, this was the first time I've done this way for an NRL tipping video, but I'm going to be doing this going forward, and with the Super League tipping videos as well, which I think will be coming out tomorrow most likely. Anyways, everyone, I hope you guys enjoyed it once again. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Alright, see you all in the next one.